Okay, make sure I show everybody.
I'm showing everybody. That's me. All right. And there's Sean.
Very good. Okay, thanks for coming out, y'all. I want to start off with a confession. I want to let you know that for many years, I was a violent man. I've got a history as a violent person, and the thing was is I did not know that I was a violent person because everybody around me was also violent. So of course, by that measure, I just didn't think, there's anything different about me. I'd like to talk about that violence. I'd like to suggest that maybe you guys are violent too, and you just don't know it. And what I would like to suggest is a particular type of violence that I think probably everybody in this room is guilty of, and would like to suggest a path to nonviolence. And I would like to convince you to do this in kind of an unusual way, and that is to stop stomping on bugs. Yeah, I know, it's kind of a funny subject. Personally, I've gone for over 5 years now without stomping on bugs, and I would not mind telling you about that. You see, like many of you guys, I was raised up in the South. I was raised, to respect the golden rule, because the golden rule, whether or not whatever your belief systems are, it's just good common sense. If you want to have a good, successful, peaceful life and get along with people, then you just want to treat them the way that you would like to be treated. But also growing up in the South, we had a lot of bugs and we had a lot of snakes. And for some reason, in our culture, snakes and bugs just seem to be exempt from the golden rule. They seem to be considered to be a menace and something that should just be stomped on sight. So of course that was my belief system as well, until many years ago. My wife and I was challenged by a Buddhist nun right here in Columbia to consider the suffering of animals and insects around us. And so just for fun, we decided that we were going to take her up on that offer. And so we just stopped being violent towards bugs. And the result was that we developed a much greater sense of empathy. Not just for bugs, but for people. Because the thing is, that if you can be considerate of the life of a bug, then it makes it so much easier to consider the suffering of the guy in the car, beside you, or the guy who picks up your garbage every Tuesday, or just basically anybody. It makes it much more easier to be compassionate if you're compassionate to all living things. So because of that, we had a better life satisfaction, and that's just been my experience. So what are some reasons why you should not be stomping on bugs? Well, first off, bugs are very important to our ecosystem. They serve a function. They're kind of nature scavengers. They clean up things. They also provide food. Their little bodies provide food for birds. I'm sure everybody likes birds. The second reason is because of their aesthetic value. You might not think of bugs as being all that pretty, but if you think about it, if you think about different types of art that we all enjoy, you'll probably not be able to think of any type of art that has not at one time or another included insects, whether they be paintings, postage stamps, coins, cartoons. I don't know if you guys watched A Bug's Life, or the other one, Ants, I think is the name of it, by Disney. So they do actually have some aesthetic value, and if you look for beauty in a bug, you will find it, I can assure you. Now the third reason why you should be kind to bugs is because of pollination. We're all mutually independent on each other. Their fate is our fate, because without bugs, there would not be pollination of the fruit trees. We would not have food, and we would probably all starve. So if the bugs go out, they're going to take us with us. That's just one thing to consider. But finally, and perhaps the most important reason to be kind to bugs is because they are beings just like us. and they have every bit as right to their life as we do to ours. And I think it's very important to understand that and to appreciate it. And because of that, I believe that should be the main focus here. Now, it's not just me and some crazy Buddhist nun that believes this. The Jains, they are well known to sweep the ground in front of them as they walk so that they won't accidentally crush a bug. And I know that sounds kind of silly, sounds really far out. Maybe it sounds like some kind of a superstitious belief or whatever. But in 2001, the Indian census revealed something about Jains in India, and that is that they are the most highly educated religious group in India, believe it or not. So is it possible that maybe they're doing something that could have some value to us? Well, I believe that they do. And furthermore, I think that can be backed up by science. So when it comes to the consciousness of insects, yes, insects actually do have they possess a consciousness. Charles Darwin, way back in 1872, published a thesis paper. It was called The Expressions of Emotions in Man and Animals. And in that, he said that insects express anger, terror, jealousy, and love through their stridations. Stridation, of course, is the chirping and the singing like crickets do. Scientific American, just last year, they did a study on bees, and they found out that bees not only are emotional, but they get very pessimistic when they're angry, just like you and I would. In 2007, Christoph Koch, who was a professor at Caltech, the Koch laboratory in Caltech, he said, we just don't know what the limits of consciousness are. And for that reason, he doesn't kill bugs anymore. Now, part of the reason why their physiology and ours is so similar is because we share a common ancestor by the name of Ubilateria that lived some 600 million years ago. And from this organism, all insects, worms, vertebrates, mammals, and yes, even us humans evolved. So we've got similar cognitive processes because we've inherited all this sort of common ancestors. It's been demonstrated that the size of a body or a brain does not always correlate to intelligence. Sometimes a big creature will be intelligent and an even larger creature than that will not. So there just doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it. But from the evidence that we now know this or strongly suspect that a cockroach, for instance, will experience terror when being stomped or when being flushed down a toilet. And I would ask you, would anybody in here consider stomping on a puppy or flushing a kitten? Of course you wouldn't, because that would be cruel. The only reason why bugs seem to be exempt from this is because we don't consider them to be cute, like puppies or kittens. So, why is it okay to kill ugly things? And if that was the way that things are, would any of us be alive right now if we just went around killing things that we thought were ugly? So, in conclusion, I'd like to restate that bugs are conscious beings, and I would like you to consider to stop stomping them. And instead use a live capture like Dawn and I do. We put a cup, see a bug, we put a cup over it, slide a piece of cardboard on it, take the little critter outside. He'll be happy, you'll be happy, everybody gets to live. One other thing too is if you're using bug spray, there are other ways to deal with bugs, one of which is like a type of birth control for bugs. It doesn't kill the bugs, it just makes them infertile. And that benefits the bug and you as well. And with that, I'd like to leave you with that thought. And I hope that everybody considers the suffering of people and bugs around them. Thank you. How much time?
Plenty.
Okay, everybody's still here.